Spinning. Oh, here we are.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Hello, beautiful Chabidaye. Hi, I am Sherry Richert Belul, and I am the author of The Love List of a Lifetime. I'm also a certified high performance coach, and I happen to be with one of the most amazing certified high performance coaches that I know. This is Chabidaye, and she is also host of an amazing podcast, Lead and Lift. And did I get that right? Is it Lead and Lift?
Yes.
Lead and Lift. And Chabidaye, I also just want to say, beyond these like professional things I'm telling you, she is an amazing human being. You can already tell probably by just looking at her smile. Chabidaye has been just every time, ever since I first met her, like just kind and caring and sweet and supportive and present. I think your presence is one of the, I mean, there's many things I love about you, but I feel like every time I'm with you, you listen intently. And that's a form of leadership that I really appreciate. So, Chabidaye, welcome. Thank you for being here to talk to me for a few minutes today.
Thank you, Sherry. It's an honor to be here with you. And you probably, your listeners probably don't know this, but I am in Canada, and today is the big launch of your book. It was released in the US, I believe, November 4th, but I'm like checking the door constantly for the Amazon guy to come, and he hasn't come yet with my copy. So I'm patiently waiting to dive in. But thankfully, I got access to some amazing resources that you shared after we did our episode in the Lead and Lift podcast. So I was checking those out, but then it's like, I'm just patiently waiting for him to ring the doorbell and I can grab my copy of the book and get started.
Well, and I love that. So the reason that we decided to do this today is I love that you reached out to me, and that was so sweet. And you said, "Hey, it's being released in Canada on November 14th," and I had such an amazing time talking to you and in our conversation on the podcast. And I thought, oh my gosh, let's just get on for 10 minutes and we'll just celebrate together because you're such a good celebrator. And it would also give me an opportunity to anyone who may have missed the link for that podcast episode. I'm going to put it below in the comments because Chabidaye, I want to tell you something. Like I feel like you really understand that importance. I use the phrase because you're about leading, right? Lead with love. I feel like you really understand what that means. And I'd love to just hear any thoughts that you have in the moment about that.
Well, Sherry, why I referred to, our whole conversation with us leading with love is our whole lives as leaders. We lead other people. We strive to help other people, empower other people. But when we're no longer here, we want to leave that legacy behind of love. We want those people in our lives who meant the most to us, the ones, who we cherish those relationships. We want them to know that that love continues even though we're not here anymore. And that's why I termed our episode Leading with Love, because you can lead your lives now. You can love the people who are there now. But when you're no longer here, you can still lead their lives with love, with the beautiful memories and the beautiful things that you've left for them, which you so amazingly documented in the new book.
Chabidaye, that was just so perfectly said. And I think it's one of the things that what I love is that you focused on that in our interview, in our podcast interview, is because a lot of times, people hear end of life planning and it sounds kind of like morbid or dark or grim. And what I love is that I feel like you instantly understood what I feel and what I know is true. I mean, first of all, even just all of the hard logistical legal parts are a gift of love. They are like they alleviate so much suffering when someone passes away and those things are taken care of. But then to your point, there's also the second part, which is that legacy of love that we are leaving behind. The book is sort of split up into those two, right? The legal logistical, and then the stories and the love lists and the love letters. And Yeah, so I love that you really get that and that you understand. Even I know that if it's okay for me to say, you're a younger age than I am, and so you might not, even though, you know what I mean. You might not necessarily have that kind of deep understanding, but you do.
Well, Sherry, every one of us have lost someone near and dear to us. So every one of us know the the pain of death, the grief of death, and every one of us know there's 100% guarantee that we will die. Now, if you pause for a moment, and as coaches, we always encourage our clients to pause and think about the future, right? And there will come a day when we're no longer here. And listen, we plan for a wedding, let's say, right? You plan months and years for a wedding that maybe there's a 50-50 chance that it might last in today's society, but you know there's 100% chance you will die,
Wow.
yet we fail to plan for that event.
Oh, I just love it. You've got your coach hat on, which is just so, I mean, because it's true. And I think we talked a lot about this when we had that podcast episode, which again, I'll put in the comments below, but it's like intention and living an intentional life and living a conscious, aware life. It's all part of the coaching process, right? And so what I love so much is just the way that you're just like seeing this as a holistic, which it is. It is a holistic part of our lives. I'm not sure, why culturally, we've sort of hidden away, end of life somewhere as if it's not something to plan for. When just like you said, so many other things. We plan our careers, we plan our, all sorts of occasions. And so I love that. I really love that you come from that place.
Well, Sherry, one of the things I loved in our conversation we had in the podcast is, I mean, we shared personally there were events this year, and you're going through one of those events right now with grief and, losing a loved one and someone close to you. And there is no preparation. And what happens is it leaves everyone around them with all this stress. And
Yes.
then sometimes in some of those relationships, like if it's a much older person, like I don't know about you, but the older generation, they don't tell the younger people that they love them, that they care about them, that this memory or this moment we had really mattered. So when they die, you tend to think like, did I actually mean anything to that person? But what you've so beautifully documented in your book, and you shared templates for people to do this so you don't have to do this from scratch, is that those little notes, those little material things like a piece of jewelry, like a book or something that was precious to you, when you leave it behind for someone, it's gonna last, it's gonna stay with them, and it's gonna last their entire life. And that's what, coming back to the title, Leading with Love, that's what I mean, that they can feel your love and your warmth and your kindness years after you leave.
Oh, Chabidaye. Oh, that is exactly. I love that. And I love that you brought in that point, because it is one of the things that I highly encourage people do, not just to say like for instance, my nieces, I know my grandmother's jewelry that I want to pass on, but that I love to give a little story. Like, oh, I remember when grandma wore this, da, 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 and you were just 2 at the time. You don't know this, but those kinds of stories. And people, like you said, like it's like when we pass away, it's hard. There's so much grief, but then to mix in that unexpected, love into it, I really feel like can make a world of difference when we're grieving. So thank you.
Absolutely. And Sherry, as a leader, that's one of the things that we do differently, right? We think about that when we're not here. How do I make it easier for that person? Because I love them. Yes, they'll be sad. Yes, they'll grieve. But how can I help them get over that as quickly as possible and move on with their life? Because we're only here with each other for a short time. and the other person has to continue without us. So how do we let them know that it was okay? It was my time to go on the trip or the vacation or wherever, but I love you and I want you to be happy and I want you to have a beautiful life. And you've so eloquently put that together in the book that I encourage everyone to grab a copy. I'm going to use it as stocking stuffers for everyone, because listen, everybody will die. And they need to see that it is a good thing if they can prepare for it, because they're going to leave everybody who they leave behind happier if they prepare for that event that is 100% going to happen.
Ah, I love you. I love you. I mean, I love you anyway, but I especially am right now so grateful for your support and that the beautiful way that you've articulated about this. Chabidaye, thank you so much for taking the time to pop in and celebrate Canadian release date of the book, and also just to share your love.
100%, Sherry. And listen, we as leaders, as coaches, as people, there are people in our lives who we absolutely love, and we would want them to be happy. And we can take the opportunity to share something with them, to have that conversation, to write those notes. So Sherry, I love your book, but I absolutely will be using it for myself, for my family, sharing it with other people, because it's something so important that we know everyone needs. So thank you for putting it together, for making it so easy for us to share, death. But it's not scary. It's something that we can prepare for, and it's something that we can plan and leave as a symbol of our love for the people behind.
Yes. Oh, I love you so much. I'm gonna post the link to our podcast episode, and people can then also find all your other. I mean, you have so many episodes that are really important for people. So, Chabidaye, thank you so much. You are awesome.
Thank you, Sherry.
And to anybody who's out there listening now or will be listening in the future, thank you. Thank you so much for being here and for listening and for wanting to leave a legacy of love. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Yay.